Hello and welcome to another LSB film podcast. I hope everyone's keeping well. Today's guest is Larry Cyprus. Now Larry has written a book called Booked, and it's a very interesting book, and it's a book that will blow your mind giving what it's about. And I don't want to give too much away because we've got a whole podcast on it. But all I will say is it's very interesting. If you're interested in star signs, if you're interested in religion, and if you're interested in the country and the British Isles, then this podcast is for you. So without further ado, let's have a word with Larry and let's see what he has to say.
Are you concerned about all this corruption being rebranded as conspiracy theory? Well, don't you worry. Sit back and relax and join in the conversation with today's guest. Welcome to another LSB Film Productions podcast with your host, Chris Brooks.
So, welcome to the show. It's going to be really good, Larry.
Thank you. And I'm really welcome for the opportunity here to get my truth out there.
Absolutely. That's why I'm here. I'm here. So before we crack on, what was the starting point for you where you thought, oh, I need to write this book. I need to get it out there. What was your crux moment?
Well, it started more with my YouTube channel, I suppose, 2022. We'd done Stand in the Park and we'd made a few new friends. And I got invited up to Berwick-upon-Tweed, which is a star fort. And you just take one look at it and you go, this information, this history that we're being told is just a crock. Literally, it's all lies. And I went round the first morning. I got up quite early and I went out on my own. And there was a lady walking around the wall, and she said good morning to me and passed me. And then I continued on, and she came back to me later. She'd done a full circuit, and I'd just come to the information board that said that so the Bastion Fort at the back, there's windows at the back that point sort of like parallel to the wall. And they put a cannon in there and they said that these were secret windows. So if you get past the impregnable defense of the Bastion, which gives you unequal, view all the way around, you can't get anywhere near it, allegedly, if it was for defense. And they put this cannon at the back. And I thought, well, the only thing you're going to hit, it's parallel to the other wall. The only thing you're going to hit is the next bastion along the wall. And I just burst out laughing. And I was on my own. It was like 8 o'clock in the morning or whatever. And this woman said, are you all right? Are you all right? And I thought, well, yeah. I mean, I think I put it in the book. I do mention it in the book. But it was just hilarious. And then she's going, and she's looking over at this, the church over here is the best example of a Cromwellian church. And I'm going, Cromwell never built a church, You can't find a grave before 1750, really. If you go and look in a graveyard, there are no graveyards, definitely nothing before 1650. And you're just sort of like, hang on, there's something going on here. Where's everyone else?
So where did they put them before then? Burn them?
Well, we weren't here. We didn't occupy the land. And They came in and sort of like discovered it. You have the foundations of a building. So they found a building, they've knocked it down, and then they build another building on top of the foundation. So we build you never build a building. You don't dig down to build up.
No.
If you go and build a modern house, they put a concrete slab down and then build everything on top of it. But they put the concrete slab down so you can't look what was underneath it at all. You'll never see it again. They're burying the history, the true history of the land. And it's... So
are you into Tartaria and stuff like that?
Well, that's kind of where I was brought in from.
Right,
I've been watching the Tartarian stuff and prior to going to Berwick and stuff. And I just thought, you know what? I've got to get this truth out there. I've got to... And I set up my little video channel. I called it Our Story as opposed to His Story. And it just sort of went from there. And it was quite funny because, well, we'll find out. But I started with a star fort and I ended up at, as the book says, landscape constellations, where the stars are mapped on Earth. And so this is the ancestors bringing heaven to Earth. Okay. And mapping it out. It's really, and when you get into it, it's fantastic.
Right, well, let's get into it then, because this is going to be a
Yeah.
What an episode.
But I mean, basically, I started that in like the June 2022, and I was following Paul Cook, and Paul Cook did a video probably end of November, and it was basically the White Cliffs of Dover are man-made, and he said, you know, you can see the brickwork; they've got flying buttresses holding them up, and I just, and my instant thought in my head was, if it's man-made, if someone has put the effort into building this thing, they must have had a plan or a design in mind. And so I thought, and I put this out on my YouTube channel, and I thought, with all our technology, you know, with all the maps, all the satellite,
infrared,
photocomposite images of Earth, we should be able to see this design. And I was looking all along the coastline, trying to judge what it was. And I put a little video out there, and this guy, one of my viewers, contacted me, and he said, "Have you heard of Graham K. Griffiths and Behold Jerusalem?" And I went, "No, never heard of it." So it's a 20-year-old book. And in there, I found what I was looking for. I found the design of the White Cliffs of Dover. But it extends from, in his book, it extends from Middlesbrough in the north, down to Dover, over to Land's End, and back up to the Lake District. And there's a bit in Northern Ireland as well. And it just sort of like blew my mind. It was like, wow. And then the rest of the design gets really intelligent, and it's like, this is by intelligent design. So this is why I then say that the British Isles are man-made, and it is the most intelligent design I've ever seen. And I've worked in advertising for about 12 years when I was younger, and I've seen a lot of designs. And I've got a good eye for graphic, and so yeah, that's where it kind of started.
Man-made or divine creation?
Now,
because
Graham goes with divine creation.
So that would imply a god.
Yes. Oh, I don't dismiss God.
Right. Okay.
Never dismiss God. Never dismiss the source. You know, we connect to source through our pineal gland, which
when
is
it's not actually all fluorided up.
Well, yeah. But I think that this actually shows that we do connect through source, through the pineal gland within the design, which was the bit he missed off. But yeah, Graham has it out down as divine design, and that it was to warn us of the impending problems with global warming or whatever. He was following the narrative of the UN narrative.
Yeah, because we're not particularly ones for global warming here.
No.
That's not true. No, that's not true. It does warm, and it gets cold.
Yeah, and it's nice in summer,
and
it's pretty cold in winter,
as it has always done.
Yeah. And there are cycles, and they know we're in a cycle, and we are heading towards the cycle, I believe, is heading towards about 2050. We should be in a little mini ice age. That's where the cycle leads us.
I've also heard there's supposed to be a cataclysm.
Well, I would hardly call it a cataclysm. You know, I mean, we're still here. We've been here millions of years. We survive. You know, without medication.
Yes, definitely.
I think you know where I'm coming from.
Yeah. Well, pharmakia, isn't that like black magic? A word for black magic in Latin or something? Pharmakia.
It could be. There's a lot of play on words everywhere. And so, I mean, shall we?
Yes, please. I reckon so.
Right. Okay. So let's see if I can do this. Because I'm just doing this in the last sort of half hour there as prepping up here. What have we got? So basically, I'll bang that one up. Let's bang that up. Is that? Oh, I now need to select it. Now I've done that. Oh, there we go. Right. So this behind me now is the Glastonbury Zodiac. Now, I suppose really I need to go back to Graham a little bit. So as a child, early 60s, he's given the Reader's Digest World Atlas. Fantastic book. I got a copy the other day for about £4 on online, secondhand copy. It's a big old atlas. It's like A3 size paper-wise, so double A4 per page. But basically, in there, he gets this for Christmas, and he sees figures, faces, looking out of the atlas at him. So he sees there's a woman in North Wales, there's a beast in South Wales, there's a fishy tail is Land's End and Devon and Cornwall, and there's a great big face on East Anglia. So a chance trip, I think it was, to Glastonbury. So he sees this in early 60s. In the 1990s, he goes to Glastonbury, and he walks into a bookshop and he sees a book by Mary Cain. Mary Cain's an artist, and she's then written a book about another artist called Catherine Maltwood. So Catherine, it's a long, convoluted story, this. So Catherine Maltwood, back in 1925, is commissioned to illustrate an Arthurian script. So they have the Glastonbury Abbey hold the high history of the Holy Grail. So it's King Arthur stories, basically. And there's lots of them around, and they vary slightly. But she's reading through it, and she's recognizing the sort of landmarks of when all the knights go off for the quest. They go off to different places, and she recognizes the landmarks. So she starts getting maps out, and then she gets some aerial photography, which was allegedly a new invention back then. You can take your own view on that. But anyway, she has some aerial photography, and she finds an image in the landscape, and it's just so if I go, where am I? There. So this little man here with his arm over his head, and she finds also that way the lion, this feline character with an outstretched paw.
The man with the arm, it kind of, from here, from my eye, it looks like an astronaut.
Okay.
Unless I'm not saying it right.
Yeah. So she finds these two characters, and she's talking to somebody, and basically this person who's into like astronomy and astrology attaches the name of, tentatively, of, so the little man with his arm is Gemini, and the big cat is Leo. So she thinks, well, if I've got Gemini and Leo, next you go around, you've got Virgo behind Leo there, and then Cancer. She's on her back, yeah, with the legs in the air, kind of thing there, on just rotated slightly. And then where this little figure is with his Gemini is, with his arm over his head, underneath him is an ark, is a boat, which is Cancer. So Cancer on this zodiac is a boat and not a crab. So these are basically, it's a zodiac. So she finds this zodiac. It's about 12 miles across. And it's in the landscape. It's actually in the landscape. A lot of people try to dismiss it because they say, she uses lines that are modern roads that weren't there 100 years ago. And how can this be there? Because nobody knows about it.
When was Cancer a boat?
Cancer. So this is, well, who knows? For the last 2,000 years, it's been a crab. And this is basically down to Ptolemy, who was he was a Greek astronomer, a mathematician, a geographer. He actually went out and did maps 2,000 years ago, and he wrote the book on it, literally. And everyone has then since then referred to his drawings and his ideas, which was the zodiac then 2,000 years ago. So these images are older than that. There's a few changes. We have Cancer as the boat. Aquarius is a phoenix and not a water carrier. There's little tweaks like that. And Libra is a dove, not a set of scales. So
okay, they still make sense, don't they?
Yeah.
Like the dove being liberation.
Yeah, I mean, Libra is supposed to be the sign of justice, but it's also the sign of peace, the sign of love. And since when have you seen a set of scales on a wedding invitation? You don't. You see a dove, generally. The dove is the messenger of God as well. So, and if you think back to Noah then the dove is the messenger bringing back the good news that they found land with the olive branch. And then she finds also then there's the dog over that side now, isn't it? Canis Major. He's just outside the zodiac. He's kind of referred to as the guardian of the zodiac. He actually forms another shape as well. There's a bigger shape behind that. We'll leave that out for the moment. I might come back to that. I probably will come back to that. So yeah, Graham sort of half recognised the lion, Leo, as South Wales. And he recognises that then Virgo, I'll say she's sort of like on her back here, upside down, but that's North Wales. So, and then he's obviously Pisces is the fish of Cornwall. And then he recognises that East Anglia is Sagittarius. Sagittarius is normally seen with like a body, you know, he's up. Where is he? He's up there. He's upside down totally here, but he's got a body. He's a centaur, basically, which is sort of like, so he's got the body of a horse, but then he's coming out where the horse's head comes out. You've got the chest and the head and the arms. So
it's almost what that dog looks like on just out of the thingy. It looks like it's got legs with a torso.
Yeah. So he recognizes these things, and he goes back home and sort of like dismisses it on his journey home. But then he sort of out of curiosity pulls the map out, and he ends up he maps out the coastline of the British Isles as a zodiac, and he finds a few more than he expects. He finds one more. In fact, here we go. This is my sort of colorized interpretation of it, and we can go into more detail on this. And I've also got a bit on the top. Now, Graham's bit didn't include Ireland. I've added Ireland. I've identified that as Cetus. I've added the Isle of Man. I've added Orion, which is the Galloway Peninsula, and then I've got this bird with an Egyptian crown on its head. But if I haven't added these on, so I just need to add the image for you. Right. So here,
I remember it being the Rolf Harris character and the koala bear.
It's a short-haired Wheatland Terrier. Apparently, it's not a koala bear. If you rotate it 90 degrees, it's a short-haired Wheatland Terrier. So here we go. This is now within the coastline of the British Isles. You don't see Cancer. You don't see the arc. It's implied. It's inferred. The little bits of if I get my hand the right way around here, these bends in the design are actually marked by lighthouses. There are rocks there, and in my head, I think, oh, they're arc lights. And you have to have a childlike sense of humor to start seeing these things as well. So yeah, so East Anglia here, we've got Sagittarius's head. His eye is at a town called Eye in Sussex. Yeah. His mouth is at
Eye. That's in Suffolk.
Suffolk, is it Suffolk? Sorry, I'm not up on me.
Just out of Dis, outside of Dis.
Yeah. So his mouth is at Clacton, which clack is your when you make that's a clack. So Clacton is the mouth, and then we've got, I think, is it Margate on the Kent? Is his arm sticking out? He's got his finger there, and Dover
pointing.
is
Stop
the lower
the
knuckle.
bloody boats, he's saying.
Yeah. Well, yeah. I mean, that's if you go into the Mabinogi, it's Bran the Blessed, the giant. He's actually decapitated in Ireland, but he can still talk. And then he comes back, they bring him back to England, and then they have a big feast in celebrating from him. And then they go and bury his head at Tower Hill. And
that's the head in the back of your book, yeah. Or is that? I remember seeing a giant skull.
Oh no, no, that's yeah, that's St. Agnes.
Okay.
That's
That's when you
yeah,
said
that's
giant head.
a fossilized, yeah, it's a fossilized skull in St. Agnes in the coastline. We'll touch on that at
Mm.
the end. We'll maybe have to do another one on that.
Mm.
So and then, well, I'm right in the way now of all of this now. So I don't know. Can you make out there the horse on the south coast? That's Capricorn, basically. Um, it's probably easier to see if I go back to the other one. And then you got Pisces. Pisces is the fish. Now the eye of the fish is actually formed by the Glastonbury Zodiac. So the eye of the fish is reflecting the stars above, and it just,
Okay.
you know, um,
Is this very much like the pyramids where they're in line with the stars, or was that something
there
different?
is an alignment that I found that I think helps date it, and that's I've put down to Aries, which let's see if we get the arc itself, as I say, is invisible. And if you go to Arthurian myths and stories, King Arthur travels to Avalon in a glass barge or a crystal barge. So it's a glass arc. So we have to imagine that the whole of this barge, and I know I'm writing the thing out. Yeah, so this is like now.
I can definitely see somebody's legs with their bum in their hand.
Right, so that's Gemini, just next to my head there. I'm just
Mm.
resting my head on his bum there.
Mm.
Yeah, that's Liverpool. The
Oh,
head
is
is
it?
Liverpool, and then you find all the correlations to the names. So the eyes are at Seaforth docks because he's looking forward. He's Seaforth. His mouth is at Speak, which is where the airport is in Liverpool. Is at Speak, and then you've got Birkenhead. The Wirral is the arm. It's coming up to like almost suck his thumb. And they're all lying on Aries, which is the Lamb of God, which is the big thing behind me.
And so those lines are just what boundary maps, boundary lines, or
But most of them, it's the actual outline of the coast. It's the coastline that's forming these. You can see most of this in the coastline, and
okay.
then it's rivers. But then Graham goes on and he maps it out and says that the roads, basically, he draws it with the roads. But realistically, roads follow the geography of the land. So it's the geography of the land that is actually mapping this out.
Okay.
So forward from sort of where Gemini is looking, he's looking at the back of Taurus, which is North Wales, Flintshire coast. And you have the Great Orme at Llandudno is the horn of Taurus the bull. And then Anglesey is the head of Virgo. You've got the Limb Peninsula is her limb, pointing at Bardsey Island, and then down sort of Cardigan Bay, and then you've got Leo down at the bottom. And basically, let's show you this one. So
what's the significance of this then, with regards to what they are, where they are? Obviously,
right,
the creators made them, but what's the
right? So they are out of sequence, yes, but they tell a story because all the land animals of the zodiac are actually inside the ark. So this is Noah's Ark because all the animals have come into the ark. So what I'm showing you now is this is Leo in red this is just a map. Leo, I followed Graham's lines, and so but it's the coastline. The bits of coastline in South Wales that aren't actually drawn in part of Wales are actually the tail end of the Lamb of God, Aries, and then the clog, the foot of Virgo, which is my black line. I followed the river there. I've drawn that in following the river, and the rest of it's coastline. And then we see that what's that, 4,000 years ago, in Sumeria, they have Ayana or Ishtar in the Babylonian followings, their zodiac. And is it Wales? I think that's Wales. Now, if we assume that there are elements of truth in our history, we're told that in the last ice age or cataclysm, the people of England migrated to Middle East. So Samaria and Babylon were English. So they're there worshipping Ishtar, which is Wales. And the Baal, the bull god, which everyone's told to fear, and it's Satan and all that. Baal is Taurus, which is just behind Virgo on the map. So it's North Wales. And then, of course, we have all the, like Jesus is referred to as the Lamb of God, as was Tammuz, as was Horus, as was Isis. They're all the Lamb of God, which would be the rest of the outline of Wales. So what I'm saying is that we've got more association, the Middle East there, where everything's kicking off at the moment, are probably related to the Welsh. And then we start wondering why that, Jesus is the carpenter that adopted Jesus, as it were, because it wasn't his child, allegedly, is from the house of David. So he has to go to Jerusalem for the census. And in the Bible, it's your Christmas story. And he goes to Nazareth. Well, actually, there's a town in Wales called Nazareth. And you think, House of David, is that like House of David? Are we talking Welsh here?
Well, it's plausible, isn't it?
Yeah.
So are we saying Jesus was actually an Englishman?
Very, very possibly. Very possibly.
Because he was supposed to have come to England, I believe.
People allude to that, yeah. I mean, there's Joseph of Arimathea was a tin merchant and brought him, allegedly, to Land's End. They landed at Land's End and they go to Glastonbury. They follow the St. Michael line, the ley line, and it's a pilgrimage. And it's like there's no reason to go to Glastonbury because you can't get any tin in Glastonbury. But you can go and stand on the Glastonbury Zodiac. And there's Blake, the hymn Jerusalem, and it basically is asking, did those feet walk in this land? And Graham comes to the conclusion that yes, they do. Other people say they do. There's the Paradise Way, apparently down in Cornwall, from Land's End up to sort of Glastonbury. There's a Paradise Way, which is allegedly the route that they took. And it's sort of held in local folklore and dismissed by historians. Oh, no, Jesus couldn't possibly come here. They didn't have boats or anything like that. But this is all taking place on top of this zodiac. We have to think layers. So history is the top layer. We live in the top inch of the soil. And what I'm talking about is basically the whole of the outline is by design, and it is a zodiac, and it's
very compelling seeing it like that.
Yeah. I mean, when I got handed it, kind of thing, from Graham, from his work, he didn't include. Let me just find that one. He didn't include like Ireland or Isle of Man. Now, this is a brain. This is on the ceiling of the Sistine Chapel, right? Let me just flick up another one. It was 1990. Frank Meschenberger, an American doctor, basically went to the Sistine Chapel and said, "Oh, look, it's a brain. It's an anatomically correct brain." Now, this is the Isle of Man. I'm going to sit myself down here. This is the Isle of Man.
You're sinking.
Yeah. And just where all the ferry lines are marked, can you see those coming out of Douglas at the bottom? That is basically, I'm saying that's a brain. I saw that as a brain as a kid. And I saw that all the ferry routes coming out of Douglas were basically the spinal cord coming out and connecting that brain to the rest of the British Isles. And I was also aware that this shape actually, if I can find the right image for you here, and this little, this now is the two images combined. This is the Isle of Man combined with the God on the Sistine Chapel ceiling. It's the same shape. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
And this is actually, because we're looking at constellations and the zodiac, this is the constellation of Cassiopeia. And in the image of the brain, God is sat on the pineal gland, but he's projecting his hand through the third eye. He's projecting the Arwen, the life force, the spark of life through the front of your head, through the third eye, and you can just see.
Now this does excite me, and the reason why this excites me, and I'm always talking about it. In fact, I've even done a video dedicated to it about the sacred secretion,
Right.
and how it's all your body, the crystal soil.
Yes.
Goes up, once a month, your Mary and Joseph, your pineal and your pituitary gland release this oil, this substance that travels down your spine. Christ died at the age of 33. You've got 33 vertebrae.
Yeah.
He was crucified in Calvary, which I believe is Latin for skull.
Right.
So it's all, and the fact that we're now seeing brains and stuff.
Yeah. Yeah.
It just adds
they all
to that.
It all adds. There's so many layers to this that I haven't discovered.
Because to me, that when I listen to them explaining the sacred secretion and what it does and how it does it, and take away everything you've ever heard about religion and all that, that made sense to me.
Yeah.
That's
so religion has been hijacked. Now it's you kneel in front of the priest and he offers you the body of Christ. It's not that wafer he's offering you. It's his appendage. And then you're offered the blood of Christ. And it's not the blood he's offering you. It's his secretion from his appendage.
Oh, I didn't know that.
And it's apparently it has been shown that some priests actually do alter the wine.
I've heard about that, about some mayonnaise in some dodgy kebab shops.
Mm-hmm. Well, probably, yeah. I mean, people do get off on things like this. But so here we have God allegedly projecting his life force to Adam. But if you go and look at the picture, Adam's like this muscular guy. He's just come out of the gym. He doesn't need any life force. But that's another story. But where Adam's hand is actually an island at the south of the Isle of Man called the Calf of Man. Now, calf, if you think cows, calf is the baby cow. But also, if the cow is pregnant, it's in calf. And giving birth is calfing. So all these terms relate to the generation of life, I suppose, the birth of life. So if we look at it at the Isle of Man, God is now sending his Arwen, his life force, is through the third eye to the birth of man. And this is what they then say is painted on the Sistine Chapel. They say it's the birth of Adam, birth of man. So that all these correlations come in, and all these coincidences just stack up and stack up and stack up.
Why do you think England, UK, whatever you want to call it, Great Britain,
British Isles?
Yeah, why the British Isles? Why not somewhere in America, or why not?
Well, America's biology. The rest of the world is biology. The rest of the world is Gaia, or if you want to go for the Egyptian, I tend to go with Egyptian because of the symbolism, So when we look at Anglesey, she's got a uraeus on her head. We call it Holyhead or Holy Island there, or Holy Head is how it's actually spelled. but that's the snake crown. It's the Egyptian snake crown, the
This is where we
Urius.
get Hollywood from as well, isn't it?
Wow, yeah, um, yeah. I mean, that's why we have stars. We worship the stars of Hollywood.
Mm.
You know that they are pretending to be the stars above, because all religion is based upon the worship of the stars, the heavens, and the planets. So the stars are in Hollywood. So you are they are preaching to you virtually on a daily basis, aren't you? You go and watch your film. You go and put Netflix on or Prime. You know, whatever you want to watch, wherever you want to go, whatever your choice is. But they
Just
are
not the
you're watching this.
BBC.
Well, don't go with Netflix either. You know,
No.
they're just as bad. But they all are. I mean, when you know, would you buy anything
They
from?
I
Would
don't
you buy
mind
anything
watching
from
movies
Amazon?
now because I just look at it as like what are they showing us? What's in the
Yeah.
pipeline?
Oh yeah. I
So
mean,
I look at them for that reason. But yeah,
for me, my favorite documentary is a film called Metropolis, and I have that as my avatar or icon on my YouTube channel. I have it on my Facebook. It's uh, it's the 1930s, might have been 19 just late 20s, and it's basically this city where the man is basically works on a 10-hour day. He has a 20-hour day. He has 10 hours working, hard graft, and then he has 10 hours rest. But he's kept underground in the caves. And all the elite live above ground in the light and enjoy the fruits of, well, they just enjoy the fruits because they don't labor. There's no work done really for them. And it's an interesting film. Won't go too deep into the synopsis of it, but yeah. So I choose the character Mary in that, who becomes the leader of the revolution of the workers against the elite, and that's kind of
it's.
why that's there.
I was talking to my brother earlier and a friend of ours, and you know, you've got to hand it to them. These elites, whatever you want to call them,
Yeah,
people refer to them as they, don't they? They.
yeah,
And they say, well, who's they? And so I heard a phrase, and I think I'm going to stick it on a t-shirt. They is those having enslaved you.
yes, oh
I
yes,
think that's a really powerful.
yeah. Well, I do I do go very in depth in my book. Um, the first chapter, it's it's just as like a memory dump. And the reason why I called it booked is because I had so much stuff in my head. I needed to get it out of there and I needed to put it down, and I wrote it in a book. So I booked all the information. I put it in the book, and that's my repository of information kind of thing. And the first chapter has got nothing to do with the rest of the book. It's more about the reality of the world we live in terms of what you're actually in. You know, fiat currency is worth zero. That they are, you go to work, you are robbed of your time, and they give you a token. They've tokenized your effort, but they've kept you away from doing spiritualist things that you should be doing. You should be connecting with the earth, and as we heal the earth. Um, but
Well,
yeah,
we're
so
all one part. We're all one big organism, aren't we?
we are part of the universe, the one voice universe. We connect to source. Source is that one voice, the one truth. It's out there, and we connect through it through the pineal gland.
Mm-hmm.
And there are some that say because we don't live, we are just a three-dimensional manifestation of our real self, and we actually live in another dimension. So we're connecting to ourselves through the pineal gland. That's some people believe that.
Is this kind of like the silver thread kind of theory where you're attached to your higher self, and
Yeah,
and
yeah,
there's this etherical, unseen thread
yeah,
between you and your higher self.
yeah.
Yeah.
I think the people that people can naturally get to the place to connect to source, and but you can train yourself to do it. And I mean,
Meditation, isn't it?
dowsers are
Or
very they
mushrooms.
connect to source. Sorry,
Really, I said meditation can get you there.
yeah, yeah, yeah,
Breathing exercises or mushrooms. Um, but that's not the best way of doing it, apparently.
No,
You're more
no,
susceptible to
you can go on a bad trip. You can go the wrong way.
just go on the bloody M25 on a bad
Well,
trip.
yeah, no, I've done that plenty of times. Thank you. I'll
Mm.
stay where I am.
But no, that's it's fascinating, isn't it?
Yeah, so the reason why I call it the antidote to tyranny, uh, both political and religious, is because I think with the knowledge that I put in the book, you've got enough evidence to support, and they can't remove the evidence. I mean, how do you remove the British Isles from the face of the planet? You can't. You
You
know,
can just
it,
tarmac over it.
just put a concrete block over the top of it and build something above. Yeah, um, but it disproves your history, your religion, your geology, geography. It's all disproven there, and it's enough evidence, I feel, to actually just take down the whole system. And I do say it, and in my videos, my phrase I include in all my videos is I make these videos to change the way you think, because almost everything you've been taught is designed to stop you from thinking critically and accept everything you are told as truth without question. And that's what the education system does. And I know there's a few people been going, few videos around recently about Rockefeller and how he actually says that's exactly what he's going to do.
I think I've done mine today. I think that
There you
aired
go.
today.
Yeah. So everything is connected. We're all connected to the one source. Um, I was going to say something. I can't remember. The book. Yes. So in the first chapter, fiat currency is worthless. It's stealing your time. They are tokenizing your time, and then they have the nerve to say, "Well, actually, yours 30%, 20%, 40% back in tax, which is unlawful. Bill of Rights, it's unlawful to tax unless we're at war, and we're not at war. Well, we are, but
A
we're not at
proxy
war, they're at
one.
war. People don't go to war. Governments and banks go to war. And we're just chattel
Fodder.
fodder, cannon fodder.
Mm.
And yeah, and I think we all, I mean, I've still not connected to source fully yet, but I want to connect to source. And this is part of my journey, I feel.
So how do you try and connect the source then?
Well, I have started taking up dowsing, but I'm
And that's with the rods and water,
with the
yeah.
rod. Well, yeah, you can do it with rods, you can do it with pendulums. You don't need those bits. These are just extensions of your body. Your body is already connected to source, and it knows the answers. It's asking the universe, what is the answer to this question? And it's all about phrasing your question. But you don't actually need rods, and you don't need a pendulum. You can actually do it with your body. If you stand up and you stand on your toes and ask yourself, first of all, you ask yourself to give the affirmative answer. What is the sign for an affirmative? Generally, you lean forward, and what's the negative is basically you lean back.
So
So if
I've
you
heard
just
that. Yeah, I've
you,
heard
you can
that.
stand there and ask a question and get the answer, but you can do that with the rods, or you can do it with the pendulum, or like I say, you can do it with your own body. You don't need to do it. I mean, there's ways of sort of like um, you can do it with your fingers. And it's quite amazing to see the resistance that you get when you get a positive answer. You have the resistance that you can't, like if you lock your hands together, um, you go like that basically. And if you have an affirmative answer, you can't pull them apart. But if you've got a negative answer, they come apart, and you're almost doing it uncontrollably. It's really
You realise
fascinating.
you're now going to be accused of being a Satanist and a Mason and
Oh, a Saturnist,
goodness knows what else.
a Saturnist. That's why the Jews have their religious day on Saturn's day, because they are worshipping Saturn, the planet, and they send us off to go and worship the sun on Sunday. We don't want to be worshipping the Son of God. We want to be worshipping God, Saturn. And they've
Right, so now I'm a bit confused. So are we saying God is Lucifer the light bearer?
well, you can't have the God without the devil, can you? The
Well, I
one and the
don't
same,
know.
allegedly. I'm not saying This is
I believe the devil and
so,
God to be your yin and yang,
yeah.
your Jekyll and
it's
Hyde, your
yeah, it's
all
two cheeks
metaphor.
of the one ass, two sides of the one coin. You can't have one without the other, but you can gravitate towards the good rather than the evil. I'm not saying that Saturn is God. I'm saying that there was a belief that the planets did control us. This is why we still have, and why we still today. You can go and get a newspaper or a magazine and go and read your stars.
Mm-hmm.
And this is the belief that the planets are controlling what's happening down here on Earth.
The only question I would like to ask, given like zodiac, star signs, and all that stuff, we used to have, did we not, 13 months with 28 days each month?
Right, yeah. So if you go with a lunar month, then you have a 13th zodiac sign, which is generally thought to be Ophiuchus. Now, on the British Isles, Ophiuchus is actually Blackpool. It's an eagle's head facing north. If you go and look at the map, did I put him in there? So it's a griffin. It's not a snake bearer, as Ptolemy tells us, but it's actually a griffin. I don't think I've got him, have I? No, I haven't. I've not got him to hand here just yet. Okay. But yeah, he's in this one. If I pull the right picture up. That's him. So it's just there. He's at the top of the map. So all the land animals are inside the ark. The fish and the unicorn. Oh, we didn't cover that, did we? Capricorn is a unicorn. He's only got a single horn. Go and look at the star maps. He only has one horn. They put a second horn on to convince you that it's a goat, but it's a unicorn. A unicorn is said to have the face of a goat, but only one horn. But
I thought a unicorn was a mythical creature.
You think? Maybe. Was the griffin a mythical creature?
I think dinosaurs were.
Oh, definitely. But they're built in a factory.
I believe dragons weren't.
China. Dragons, the
Bible talks about dragons, but the word dinosaur wasn't even penned until about the early 1800s.
Yeah. So, which way am I can never win after this the way around.
Imagine trying to be one of those weather report readers and they're pointing to something that they can't actually see.
If you have a mirror image,
terrible. I keep knocking my bloody hang on. I keep knocking my earphone wire out. So I don't know what you just said then.
Yeah, if you have a mirror image, it's easier, isn't it? But this is Isle of Wight here at the bottom. This is Libra. You know, there's clues all over the place with it. There's so on the beak of the Libra, you have cows. Except if you have a really posh accent or thick accent, I don't know which way it is. It's coos. I suppose Scottish. You know, there's a coo in the field. It's coo. So it's cooing. The dove's cooing on the Isle of Wight. So above my head, we've got. This is Blackpool over here, and Leeds is just a bit beyond his feet. Guiseley is one of his feet, which is just outside Leeds. So that's a griffin, and then above him we've got the phoenix of Aquarius. But yes, so Ophiuchus is often seen and cited as the 13th, and sometimes they quote 14, and 14 would be Cetus, which then becomes Ireland.
How would 14 work?
Because occasionally you don't quite fit 365 into 13 times 12.
No, but you do with 13 though, don't you?
13 times 28.
Because if you look at a tortoise or a turtle,
it's 364 degrees. It's 364 days if you have 13 times 28. So you've got an extra day.
But who decides on that extra day?
Huh?
Who decides on that extra day? Who says that a year has 365
it's
days?
It's recorded. It's the sun going. round the sky, or the Earth going around the sun, whichever way you want to look at it. I don't mind which way you
Well,
look
I
at
shouldn't
it.
imagine most of this would work on a heliocentric, would it? You can't have the same. You can't be looking at the same constellations, millions and millions
No,
of
you
years if
don't.
you're constantly doing this.
You have the precession of the zodiac, and they do change as well. So the precession of the zodiac is 25,800 years. And basically, so every 2,150 years, the first zodiacal sign of the year, being the year starts on the spring equinox. That's the first day of the year is the spring equinox, which is 21st, 22nd of March. And that's the start of the year. But if you go and look at the sky on the 22nd of March, the sun is actually not in Aries, which is what we're told, because it was 2,000 years ago. It was when Ptolemy did all his mapping out.
Aquarius, isn't
We're in Aquarius.
it?
No, we're not. We're in Pisces.
I thought we were in Aquarius now, which is like the time of exposing everything.
Well, we're on the cusp. We're somewhere in between. Yeah, we are entering the era of Aquarius.
Oh, I thought we were already in it.
There
Perhaps
are
that's
some
why
that say
things
that.
are still a bit shit then.
I'm not very good at I always thought as a kid I should be looking at the stars, but I never actually listened to myself, and I didn't bother. So I mean, I have quite a rudimentary knowledge of the zodiac and the stars, but yeah, as far as I understand, I'm born on the 16th of September, so I'm a Virgo. Someone who's born on the 15th or the 14th is technically a Leo currently.
I'm Gemini.
Because they shift. So and then people go, I've been reading the wrong star sign, but it made so much sense reading the right one or the wrong one, because they're ambiguous. They're all a bit ambiguous, aren't they? When you go and read your stars.
If you want to hear something, you can make most things fit.
Yeah. And then that's what people say about, well, that's what I'm saying about the coastline. Everyone go, well, you just pareidolia, it's all, make believe, you're making it fit. And I'm going, well, yeah, but it fits. And it's not coincidental, because these aren't just sort of like 12 random shapes. They are associated with them. They're a pattern. It's no longer. So if it happens.
How many coincidences does it take to not be a coincidence?
Well, I asked myself this last week, so if it happens once, it's an accident. If it happens twice, it's coincidence. If it happens 3 times, it's a pattern. So it only takes twice. It only takes one more time for it to be not a coincidence. It's a pattern. And this is why I suppose in law, if you everything has to be done in 3. If you say you demand recompense for whatever, and you write to a company saying I demand a refund, they can ignore you the first time because they put it down as a mistake. It's an accident. Twice is a coincidence, so they ignore the second one too. Once you have the third one, it's like, oh, it means business.
So that's like your red letter time.
Yeah. So this is so it's almost enshrined in law that anything more than 2 is not an accident. It's by, it's it's a pattern. It's yeah. You're actually
that is interesting.
Know what you mean. You know what you want to say, kind of thing.
Yeah.
Just listen to you once you go 3 times. It's 3 times and you're out as well, isn't it? The opposite.
That's it, 3 strikes and
that's it. Yeah. So everything's in 3. So once you get past 2, it's no longer coincidence. It's a pattern.
I talking about patterns and numbers, I always see 33 everywhere.
Yeah.
What's 33? Yeah. I know, like in numerology and angel numbers.
It's a popular number.
But I always see it.
Always.
It always used to be, funny enough, 66.
Yeah.
And then it's half that.
Yeah. So it's like you say, there's 33 vertebrae in the spine, but we're almost drawn to that because we are all built the same. So
Is
if
that
you're
why the
seeing
Masonic people use 33?
exactly, you've got that's the highest level of the Masons is the 33rd
Hmm.
degree, isn't it? And the third degree is what they give you. They question you to make sure that you want to be a Mason before you can go to level 4. You get the third degree, being a third level Mason. But yeah, no, we're all built the same. You know, like you say, you've got 33 vertebrae. So if you've got 33 vertebrae, then that's a natural number to you to use. So it's nature. It's our nature, the reality of our matrix, if you want to call it a matrix or whatever you want to call it, realm with an E, real me, not realm without the. Um, but yeah,
So you must like, sorry for buttoning, you must like people like Jordan Maxwell.
who?
Really? You don't know
uh,
Jordan Maxwell? Fucking hell.
yeah, no. So I've been so busy concentrating on this that I haven't looked at anything else.
Okay, well he's
And
dead now. He's dead
and
now,
you,
but he was
yeah,
amazing. He's the one who kind of got David Icke on his path, really.
yeah.
He goes
So
back.
we're talking sacred geometry and things.
He was an expert in everything occult. And
Yeah,
so he would be able to tell you about words, their meanings, what they,
right. I might have seen
everything
some
like
of
that.
his. I might have seen
Quite
some
a
of his work.
quite
Yeah,
a potato-headed looking bloke, normally with glasses. Looked like he dressed for the era that he was in, and he didn't ever really seem to dress like he was out of that era. He
yeah,
always dressed like he was in the 70s. But then so do most Americans. No offense,
yeah,
Mark.
yeah. Um, so
But
yeah,
no, he
so I
was
probably have
fascinating.
seen some of his work, probably a couple of years ago. But my path led me down this bit,
Mm.
and this is where I've got to at the moment. And I think you asked me where is my journey, how am I going to sort of get to that end point? And really, you know, the day we die is the day we stop learning. So my journey will take
Or
me
we
where
go, or we advance to
or we advance to
university.
the universe and the universal truth and the universal knowledge, the Arwen. So yeah, for me, I think my connection, how I'm going to achieve my connection to source is actually going out. And now I've finished what I've done. I can't do any more. Although I said that a year ago and then I found some more. The things happen. But I went to the Weekend Truth Festival up in Cumbria, the second one. I'd
Hmm.
been to the first one as well last year. And I met some wonderful people. I had a discussion this morning with Oily Witch. She's down near Brighton. She does got an apocryphy. Can't say it.
Hypocrisy.
That's the one. So yeah, and she's very spiritual and into the zodiac as well. So we had a good discussion. We had just had a talk this morning, and she forgot to press the record. So it just she
Oh,
goes,
dude.
"Oh, we'll have another chat next week." I said, "Fine, no problem." You know,
That's good.
um,
See, one of my first podcasts, and these were early days, and I was recording a podcast with Mark Biersky,
right?
and the picture was fine, but there was no audio.
Oh, yeah,
Oh,
yeah,
yeah, so and we never have revisited it, but yeah.
yeah. It's trials and tribulations. We learn by our mistakes as well. So yes, the 33. Yeah, it's just there's people see 1111. I
New
usually see
beginnings.
11, which is
New,
angels,
mm,
basically, they say, don't they? I usually see 1123. But then I've almost programmed my body to do that. So when it gets to 1123, it's like, oh, look at the watch. What time is it? Oh, it's 1123. Fibonacci sequence. And because I'm very numbers orientated, and the Fibonacci sequence is what drives the stock market, and it's all controlled. And yeah, and
do you
also the
believe in things like
cryptocurrency.
listening to frequencies?
Um, I think it would help. Yeah,
Yeah.
definitely.
Well, because I often go to bed and I'll listen to like rain with brown noise, but it
Yeah,
might have a frequency of 432, or it
yeah,
might have, or some other frequency. Now I know that if you were surrounded in frequency, it would make a difference, like a rife machine. But does it really make a difference if you're just listening to something in headphones? Will it
yeah,
give the same effect?
yeah.
Yeah.
I think I believe so, and I think if you want to ask somebody, go to Joe Whitaker and Kelly of the crystal water experience.
Okay.
Fantastic. They are fantastic. What they do, and they connect. Kelly's kind of a dowser. She dowses with her body. She can't even drive past. She can't drive down the road past a tree without feeling the energy of the tree. And
is she one of those people that every time she walks past a light thing, it goes on?
Yeah, the flicker, yeah. And so I mean, that what they do is fantastic. And so like Kelly does the connection, as it were, and then Joe puts the science behind it. And so together they're phenomenal, really.
That's
are
really good.
wonderful.
I'll have to look into them.
But the frequency, yes, you're gonna change your charge within your body, and obviously to be in a healthy state, you need to have the negative charge, which sounds everything's inverted. So positive thoughts, positive feelings have a negative charge to them. The earth has the negative charge, and the ether is the positive charge. So everything wants to go from negative, flows from negative to positive. What they're doing, like the wind turbines, they're ionizing the atmosphere. They're making the atmosphere negative. So we're living in the wrong kind of atmosphere. We should be living in a positive atmosphere and gaining more, and then we'd have more connection with Earth, with Source, as it were. And so it's very interesting what they're doing to us, and we don't even know. We think, oh yeah, wind turbines are producing electricity, or that they put the solar panels out in the fields. What? Or they build a factory to capture carbon. Go and plant a tree. Go and put some plants in. In fact, grow some vegetables. Why don't the council grow vegetables on
because they're too busy freaking
at the side of the road? Why do they put these trees in that are useless to everybody? Why don't they plant fruit trees?
Well, firstly, most councils are run by vegetables.
Yeah.
So I don't like the chances of them. Yeah, you're right. You are right. Because I don't want anyone having anything for free. They want everyone to
No,
be.
but everything is free.
Yeah, of
Everything is
course. I
provided
said
to
this to my
you.
brother. I said, what the governments of the world have done, they have taken everything that was given divinely to you as your right, and they've sold it back to you as a privilege.
Yeah. You see,
And that's where we're at.
yeah. So it's, I mean, if we go politics wise, so an Englishman has rights, a British citizen has privileges. I am in the process of rescinding my British citizenship.
See, no, I've just made a video. This hasn't aired yet, and it'll probably have aired by the time this goes out. And it's about expatriation, and that's the only legal way that you can, in court, be recognised as a EU government. I don't consent.
Yeah.
But in England, you have to have another nationality. I can never say that word. You have to have
nationality.
You have to have that.
Yeah.
Or they won't do it.
Yeah. Well, then that's against my human rights.
Because then you'll be stateless.
Yes.
So then technically they could boot you out of the country.
No, where to? The country of my birth, England. Where can I go that isn't run by a dictatorship?
So how would you go? How because that's quite an important thing. How would you go about rescinding through expatriation?
Right. So I've actually filled in the form online, and to do that, there was a charge to it. And I thought, no, I want to do this, and I want to do it this way, to sort of like stick two fingers up at them. I've paid £482, and I've sent the forms off. I've sent them my passport. I've sent them evidence that I will not be taking up a new citizenship, and they want evidence that you will be. They say you've either got to have a second citizenship, or you will go for a second citizenship in 6 months, within the next 6 months. And I've put, no, I won't. I basically wrote a letter and say, hey, please accept this as my evidence, and if you don't accept it, you're going against my human rights. I didn't say it in so many words, but I worded it. I'm quite good with wording stuff like that. So I'm still waiting for their response, and I'm sure I'm going to get a negative, at which point I go, hang on, I've just paid £482. You said I can do this, and now you're telling me I can't. You're going against my right of freedom, of liberty, of pursuit of happiness, which basic fundamental rights, like right to life, freedom, and pursuit of happiness. And I said that in the letter. Don't dismiss this. And they're going to go, oh, this guy's a right nutter, and they might want to interview me, but I feel that I'm up enough on, I can catch them out. And basically,
just do bear in mind though that when they do get worried, that's one of the first cards that they pull out, isn't it? Or were you mentally sound?
yeah,
And they'll play
yeah,
the loony card.
yeah. But then we are currently still allowed trial by jury. They're trying to remove that from us,
as opposed to jury trial.
Yeah. So if you have a trial by jury, the jury must be 12 of your peers.
Yeah, you're tried by your peers. Unless it's a grand jury. And then you can have, what is it, 24?
But basically, I want to be judged by my peers or by God himself. And they acknowledge God within the UK, within their legal fiction, the UK, because it's UK, United Kingdom is legal fiction. And anything that's built on a fiction is fiction, ipso facto. You can't have it any other way. You can only build truth on truth. You can't build a truth on a fiction, on a lie. And the United Kingdom
about having a solid foundation.
Yeah, yeah. So that they're on, dodgy ground, and I've got the likes of Dolores Cahill behind me. I met Dolores last year, a wonderful woman, and again this year up in Cumbria at the Weekend Truth Festival, fantastic. And there were a lot of people there with a lot of knowledge, and it's like, oh yeah, well I'll call on this person as my witness. I'll call on this person as my witness. I want 12 people that aren't British citizens, and in fact, I want 12 people that are stateless. And they'll go, well, we haven't got any. And I'll give them a name of 20. I'll give them a list of 20. So try one of those. I can do that. And they can't actually deny me the right currently.
Well, do keep me updated on that, because
I will. Definitely,
I'll be very interested to hear how that goes.
But it's a state of mind. If you believe the fiction, they can hold you under the fiction. I was watching where you had the interview, the guy that had gone with the council. Yeah.
Zach.
I can't remember. My partner was actually watching it, so I was overhearing it. And basically, the council renting the courtroom. If you believe the fiction, then they can hold you to it. If you believe the lie, then you are lying, and they can hold you to it. If you stand in your truth, in your light, they can't do anything to you. And I think
it's funny to say that, because also somebody who I've had on the show before called Chris Edwards, and he's on TikTok.
Yeah, well, I met him.
Yeah, he's a good bloke. He's a musician as well. And he said, he's done all the teaching people how to write legal letters, affidavits, and all that, blah, 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 blah. Now he's gone, right, you fuckers, as in council, and you no longer exist to me.
Yeah, exactly.
You're not there.
You've stepped out of the fiction.
He hasn't had any harassment at all.
No, exactly. It's just, if you don't believe their lie, then you're fine. And as long as you can stand your ground and know why it's a lie and how everything fits in behind it. And I saw Chris talking, and it was like a light bulb moment. This light bulb comes on. Oh my God, it's that simple. You just basically you write a letter to the Attorney General and say, I don't want to be a British citizen anymore. And that's it. But I've gone down this route. I'm trialing this route, really. And I paid with my fiat currency that's worthless. And, let's see what happens. Because I've paid. And it'll be interesting to see it, because, as I say, the alternative is just simply write a letter to the Attorney General, which my partner will probably do. Or in fact, if I'm not successful at this, then I'd just go down that route. and say, I've changed my mind. Your fiction's a lie. I don't believe you. Bye bye. And I think this September the 13th is coming up. I mean, this probably won't go out until then or after then, but there's this call to rally in
Yeah,
London.
I won't be going to that.
Exactly. So this then is to bring you into the digital ID. They will send in people. People will be coming in. Riots will happen, and they'll cite that then as being the necessity.
Problem,
That's the
reaction,
problem.
solution.
Oh, we've got a cure for that, digital ID. Which then
they're already trying it with the boats, aren't they? Because of the boat people.
Yeah. It's
terrible.
But I think a bigger revolution would be if everybody wrote to the Eternal General and said, I don't want to be a part of your game anymore. Not my circus, not my clowns. Sod off.
Yeah, I'd like to see that. I would like to see that. Right, tell people where they can find your book, and hopefully we can shift a few units for you.
Yeah, we'll see. So I actually sell it on eBay. I'm sure if you sort of Google it, it will come up, and it's booked.
I'm sure you'll probably send me a link, and then I'll just put that link in the video description. And I can click on it.
It's under Albion Zodiac, Larry Cyprus on eBay. My channel, my main channel is on YouTube at the moment. I say earlier, I think it was up to 6p revenue last month.
So you monetize then?
I am monetized still.
Oh, that's good. So how many subbies you got?
I've got 2,000 at the moment.
Awesome.
2,180.
Okay, well, hopefully, please, people go over and subscribe.
Like I say, you can see basically the contents of the book goes a little bit more depth than the videos, and it's a bit more succinct. But you can see my videos, my journey, because I sort of recorded my journey, where my thoughts were at each time, and there will be more going on. So that's our story. Our dash story, I think 7721, if you want the exact thing. But if you search Albion Zodiac, you will find it. I usually come up top of the list because they haven't realized how important this information is to taking the whole system down, really. Like I say, you have this knowledge and you can dismiss your education, you can dismiss a whole lot, really. If you
I haven't got knowledge and I can still dismiss all that.
Yeah. And I'm also on Rumble under Albion Zodiac. It's on Facebook still, I'm expecting it, as soon as your video goes out, I'm going to be like,
no. Well, listen, mate,
right down the bottom of the list.
It's been a pleasure to talk to you.
Yes,
I've really enjoyed listening to your story, and I think it's incredible. Yeah, I think we'll be talking again, and I think absolutely. We still haven't covered the, so I cite, because people say, well, how can these 6 foot tall people have built this? And I just go and watch Stellium 7, go and watch an introduction to a Titan, go and see how big the elephant was. And then we were all living in the same environment. And they've only got to look at church doors, old church doors. Well, there you go. The church doors, yeah. They're brilliant. Huge. With the latch. The latch is like 40 foot up in the air. Yeah. Brilliant. Awesome. Thank you, Chris. I hope everyone watching this has enjoyed it. I certainly have. And stay tuned because there's going to be more like it. But until next time, look after yourselves and I'll speak to you all again soon. Bye for now.